Good evening.
It's my favorite saying, good evening, everyone. It's 6 p.m., April 3rd, 2017. It's time to call Franklin City Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Abbott?
Here.
Mr. Holt? Mr. Austin?
Here.
Mr. Eggers?
Here.
Mr. Fox?
Here.
Mr. Hukens?
Here.
Mr. Word?
Here.
Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you. Mr. Words, prayer pledge, please.
Okay. You'll have it in. Father, be with this city as we make the decisions that affect all of our community. Be with our military, men and women around the world as they protect our freedoms. Be with the fire and the police department and allow them to protect Franklin and do their job safely. Be with our city employees who make for an awesome city. Be with our mayor and council as we make the decisions that affect our community. In Jesus' name, amen.
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, outside of the presentation by the school, do we have any other announcements and presentations or public comment? Hearing none. Just want to say that tonight we have the Mayor's Youth Council with us, and they've been working on a project. And Sam Vanderveen has been the mayor's intern, and it's been very nice working with you guys. Mayor McGinnis and Dr. Clendening actually started the Mayor's Youth Council, I think, a couple of years ago. When Joe left, one thing he did ask me to do was to keep this going. And I'm glad he did, because it's been one of the most rewarding meetings that I've been able to go to. So I appreciate you guys. And they want to give a presentation. They've been working on a project about our city flag. And Sam, do you want to come on up with your group?
Yeah.
Well, hello. My name is Sam Lake. Thank you, Mr. Garnett. And I'm from the Franklin Mayor's Youth Leadership Council, and I'm fortunate enough to serve as the president of the organization this year. Just a little bit about what we're going to be presenting today, and just a little background of the organization itself. The Franklin Mayor's Youth Leadership Council, formed in 2016, was an initiative created by Mayor McGinnis, who sought to further the relationship between the school corporation and the city of Franklin by giving a voice to the youth within our Franklin community. And so right now we have 15 students who consist of this organization, and I'm just going to let them walk by and say their name really quickly and what grade they're in.
Hi, my name is Emma Bevins, and I'm a junior. I'm Allie Paramore, and I'm a senior.
I'm Clay Black, I'm a sophomore.
I'm Isabel Megan, I'm a sophomore.
I'm Megan Tennell, I'm a freshman. I'm Elena Vanderveen, and I'm a senior.
Jonathan Otten, I'm a sophomore.
And there are a couple more, but they're going to join us this evening. And so with the guidance of local government and civic leaders, we have been the epitome of student leadership, growth, and success. Through the creativity and ambition of my friends here, many incredible opportunities and ideas have been brought to the city's attention with what we're about to present, which is the city flag design. In the coming years, we would like to continue expanding the foundation of community service, excellence, leadership, and political enrichment. The 2017 and 2018 Franklin Mayor's Youth Leadership Council will explore new projects and activities that will drive the city of Franklin forward in the future. And with that being said, we're just going to start with the presentation with Clay.
Good evening, City Council members. My name is Clay Black. I'm the Secretary of the Franklin Mayor's Youth Leadership Council. And one of the main project that we've been working on is the update for the city flag of Franklin. As to why we need to adopt this proposed city flag, we need to understand what is happening around us here in Franklin. Our city is currently undergoing massive infrastructure upgrades and renovations that will not only improve traffic throughout the city, but make Franklin stand out among other communities in Johnson County. Beyond infrastructure, we're currently seeing a huge boom in Franklin's business sector that will offer new products, services, and needs to the citizens of Franklin and surrounding areas. If we're upgrading our infrastructure, business sector, and image, we must first upgrade the symbols that represent our government, our city's government, culture, and people. Our current flag is both outdated and old. If we show the old city flag, it appears to be quite massive. It uses the old seal for the city of Franklin. As many of you know, we have updated the current city seal, and we don't even use Benjamin Franklin as an image for the city anymore. The new proposed city flag, if you show it please. Was designed by the entirety of the Franklin Mayor's Youth Leadership Council. The new proposed city flag would reflect on all the growth that we've seen in Franklin and all of the growth that we've made as a community as a whole. But as a member of the Franklin Mayor's Youth Leadership Council and a resident of our good and glorious city, I urge that this elected body adopt the new proposed city flag.
Can we see it? What does 6 stars stand for?
Oh,
What are you doing there? We'll see your time.
We aren't done yet. We
All
aren't done yet.
Careful, you'll all be in law school before it's over.
I'm Jonathan, I'm a sophomore, and I'm the programs chair for the Youth Council. For the representation and symbolism of the flag, we decided to change the old flag because the old flag symbolism just had a picture of Benjamin Franklin, the symbol, which was the city's namesake, and it had the state and the city, and we believe that with the new flag, we decided to put some more symbolism into it and what Franklin truly represents just past the name. And we use colors and stars and different types of symbols to represent what we mean.
So starting with the colors, we incorporated the blue and yellow of Franklin College and also white for the safety and cleanliness that Franklin represents.
Hi, I'm Emma Bevins. I'm a junior. So the first star on the left of the flag represents tradition. We believe Franklin is a community very rooted in tradition. We thought of different things in our communities that happen year after year, such as the downtown lighting ceremony in the beginning of December, different festivals and parades that we have throughout the year, and also just historic landmarks that have really come to define Franklin, such as the Art Craft Theater, the Willard, the courthouse, the college. There are several others we could name. But that first star just represents the tradition that Franklin has cultivated and the culture it has cultivated over the years. The second star represents the community that we currently engage in now. As we were saying earlier with the renovation of downtown, we believe that our downtown square here has become more user-friendly, and it is a good central meeting place now more than ever. We thought of different community events like Strawberries on the Square and the Farmers Market that even we as youth really enjoy attending. And the star really represents just the interactions we're able to have in our community. Even as sophomores, juniors, seniors, freshmen in high school, we're able to have a voice here on the city council through the Mayor's Youth Council, and we appreciate that so much as youth. So just our ability to have a voice is why we picked the star to represent community.
Hi, I'm Allie Paramore and I'm a senior. So the next star that we have represents opportunity. And as a student at FCHS, I definitely see countless opportunities for youth every day, whether that be just through our education systems in general or internships. I know a lot of my friends come downtown every day for internships, and then also Franklin College. Another thing that we considered was location, because we are in a great location close to Indianapolis and in central Indiana. And then finally, as Clay mentioned earlier, growing businesses. We have many opportunities for not only jobs, but also entrepreneurship with our smaller businesses here.
Hi, I'm Elena Vanderveen, and I'm an exec on the Mayor's Youth Council. One of the things that we collectively believe is a strength and a focus at Franklin is education. Not only are staff and faculty focused on individual student growth, but education is student-centered and innovative, and learners are inspired to become great. Also, one thing that we have to offer is the unique relationship between Franklin College and our students. We think it's very, very important that our students are encouraged to do very well in their academic endeavors and also further their education after high school.
My name is Megan, and the next star stands for innovation, the growth and development of this city, and the additions to the east side, downtown renovation, and trail systems have all been examples of how our city is constantly growing and changing. There are unique stores and trails all over the town, and modernization in the city appeals to youth at the college and high school levels.
I'm Isabel Megan again, and I'm a sophomore. So the last star represents the commerce in Franklin. There are lots of obviously big companies in Franklin, and they're flourishing economically and in size. There's lots of large and small businesses, examples of KYB, Kroger, and Mitsubishi. They also in Franklin, we have a lot of economic development, and the companies are growing in number, and they're growing.
Well, that's all we have for you guys. Do you guys have any questions? Or you guys have any questions, I guess?
I'm pretty impressed. You guys are great. Ms. Gray, our city attorney, had how this could work if the council chooses to move forward.
You might want to ask them, they sound lost.
No, I mean,
These kids are sharp. You as the county, you as the city council have the authority. I tried to do a little research and background as to how we get a flag, and no one seems to really know. And so under the home rule law, we certainly can govern ourselves. There's nothing that prevents us from having a flag, or prevents us from just deciding what flag we wish to have. Technically, the Board of Works makes determinations with regard to property, but the mayor thought it'd be a good idea, and certainly it was a privilege to have these young folk here. If you gave a recommendation to the Board of Works, since you all are the elected officials, and then made a recommendation to the Board of Works, who would formally adopt the flag based on your recommendation.
Yes, so with recommendation favorable or unfavorable, you would certainly be welcome to come to the next Board of Works, or you would not have to come to the next Board of Works. But I encourage you to come to any city government meetings that you can and learn how it works. So I'll turn it over to the council to.
I'm very impressed. I really like the design. There was a little bit of a mention beforehand, before the meeting, about the writing and what that might mean, just from going down the road, whether we left all that on there. But I really, the design of it, I'm totally impressed. I would love to see it become our new flag.
I'm happy with, the symbolism was important to me too, and you guys explained it really well. So I do have one question, because you just don't do this overnight. How long did it take you to do it?
We spent about, I would say, 6-7 meetings, and we meet almost twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month.
It's amazing.
So it was a long time. But
Did you have a bunch of different designs that you went through?
I think we had 9 designs or something like that, and we narrowed it down to the top 2. And one meeting we just said, okay, so we're going to narrow it down from these 2 to 1, and then everyone is expected to bring in a finalized flag design of the template that we chose. And so everyone did, and then we ultimately decided on that one.
So who was this design one of your individual ones? Cornering market.
I will just say I didn't force it on them. They liked it. I don't know. I think they liked it, right?
Mayor, I would make a recommendation that we give them a strong heads up to accept their design and work.
So we have a motion for a favorable recommendation.
Second.
Mr. Akers on the second. Is there any more questions from the public?
Mayor, I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
In 1991, I had the privilege of serving as the Franklin Rotary Club president, and it was during that year that our Rotary Club embarked on a process where we were going to update our Rotary flag. You're a Rotarian, and you see these little flags that anytime you visit a Rotary Club, you hand them out. And a Franklin High School senior named Jessica Justice came up with a good recommendation, which a new flag was adopted at that time. Last 2 weeks ago, I was at Rotary, and I noticed that we updated that flag. I think it's been a few years now, obviously since 1990. But the new flag, which I really liked, had a portrait of Ben Franklin on it. And it was, rather than a shadow that you see here, or whatever that is, it was actually a good look at his face. So in one respect, we might be losing Ben, but we've gained him in another aspect as well. But I like what they've done here. So congratulations on a good piece of work there.
And Mr. Hukin, sorry to interrupt, but we do happen to have, I know someone had mentioned about the words on the flag themselves. We do have another version, it's next to Julie, but it does not have the words on there, and like the Franklin City of Choice, like work and play for a lifetime. And if you guys do want to see that, we have copies of that you guys can see as well.
And I think the reason for the words, Julie, correct me if you're wrong, because you probably out. If you didn't have the words on, it's a cheaper flag, but I think it looks cheaper too. So.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the words on there. And we talked about being a little bit small, but I mean, quite frankly, I think everyone looks good on that.
Okay. Good.
The purpose for the words removal is so that when this is turned around, no matter what, you read Franklin appropriately. If there are no words, it's a mirror image.
But if you put the words on both sides, it costs a little bit more money to do it. So. But I agree. I like the words on myself.
I like the words and the future where you're headed.
So, any more comments? Because we have a motion and a second.
We got a lot of stuff coming on with the weather getting nice. It'd be nice to have the Franklin flags hanging outside of the building.
Well, they did the first one. So, Julie and I decided we wanted to buy that out of our mayor's budget to get you guys the first flags. So anyway, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of a favorable recommendation? Aye. Nobody opposed? Nope. Didn't think so. Good job.
Thank you.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay, that gets us to the consent agenda.
Move to approve Fountain County minutes for March 20, 2017.
Second.
Second by Mr. Akers, motion by Fox. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, there I go again. I gotta get, not being used to that. I did.
We laughed about that last time, didn't we? Make a vote on count.
Okay, since you are the mayor's youth council, you can leave, but I'm going to ask you to stay. How's that? Now, there's one presentation that's probably going to be a little long, but if you have to leave, I'll understand. So, Okay, we're ready for old business.
Move to read all old business by title only.
Second. Second by Mr. Austin. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and this will be for a public hearing. Item number 1, Common Council Budgetary Ordinance number 17-08, an additional appropriation for the Lowell Special Distribution Fund. This is $188,789.39 to be appropriated for our paving project. This is for a public hearing, so any public comment? Hearing none, does the council any more questions? We talked about this the last meeting.
I would move to approve common council budgetary ordinance number 17-08.
Second.
Second by Mr. Wertz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 2, Common Council Budgetary Ordinance number 17-09, authorizing an additional appropriation for the drug-free Johnson County grant. This is in the amount of $7,153. Is that right, sir? And we talked about, is there any public comment? It's also a public hearing. And we talked about this one the last meeting also.
I would move to approve common council budgetary ordinance number 17-09.
Second.
Second by Mr. Agers. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next, that gets us to new business.
Move to read all new business by title only.
Second.
Second by Mr. Agers. This is introduction, Common Council Resolution number 17-01, a resolution approving an amendment to the Economic Development Plan for the Franklin I-65 Integrated Economic Development Area. Integrated Economic Development Area.
And I believe, sir, Mr. Shassel, correct if I'm wrong, but I believe they can take action on this resolution tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chasson.
Good evening, Rob Schofstall, attorney for the Redevelopment Commission. Redevelopment Commission is intending to assist in the construction of a new shell building on North Green Road. And the recommendation from Barnes and Thornburg, which is helping me on the project, is that we amend our economic development plan to more explicitly describe, or more specifically describe the shell building. Currently in the 2015 plan, it just says shell building. Krista, do you know that amount? It's like $500,000. It's really a placeholder. We now have a better idea of where it's going to be, who the landowner is going to be, and what the scope of the project is going to be. And then, as you can see from the exhibit, I don't know if you have the exhibit, but it calls out a $1 to $3 million building, plus the land and new road. So the recommendation from Barnes and Thornburg is that we amend our economic development plan to more specifically describe the shell building. So the request for you tonight is to find that amendment conforms to the overall development plan of the city, and that's it. This is going to come back to you though on May 15th, and at that time, if the RFP let me step back a second. The Redevelopment Commission is also undertaking at the same time a request for proposal process to find a contractor or a developer who can build this building for us. So that's going on a parallel track. Next week, the Redevelopment Commission should be receiving those proposals. And according to the timeline that we're on, the RDC will, at the Tuesday, April 18th meeting, recommend that we enter into what's called an installment purchase contract, which involves the pledge of TIF money. In order to do that legally, the City Council has to approve that. So that installment purchase agreement is going to come back to you on May 15th for your approval. So we can talk through the numbers. We'll know the numbers at that point, and we can talk about that in more detail. For tonight's purposes, though, we're just asking you to green light the idea of the shell building number 2. This process, this specific process that we're on is a 4-step process. The redevelopment commission begins with what's called the declaratory resolution that amends the economic development plan. Second, and that's occurred. Second step is a planning commission resolution that approves that the plan conforms to the overall comprehensive plan. That occurred last week. This tonight is the third step. Fourth and final step on the amendment to the plan will occur with the redevelopment commission coming back for a confirmatory resolution at its April 18th meeting. Questions?
Mayor, we can take action on
Yes,
this.
you can. This is just the resolution amending the economic development plans. And it's ready for your action.
And I know it doesn't have to have, I don't think it's a public comments, but is there anybody that wants to say anything? Okay, is there any more questions from the council?
This is just so you can move forward, keep on.
I will make a motion to approve resolution number 1701, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Franklin, Indiana, approving an amendment to the economic development plan for the Franklin I-65 Integrated Economic Development Area.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fox. Any other questions? Hearing none, we have a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, pass. Thank you.
Thank you. See you next month.
Okay, item number 2 under new business, Common Council Resolution number 17-02, a declaratory resolution designing an economic revitalization area for innovative 3D manufacturing. This is
As Kristen makes her way up here, council members, this also is a declaratory resolution that you can take action on, because all you're being asked to do is to designate this as an ERA. Krista was kind enough to attach items 1703 and 1704. Those will be acted upon at your next meeting, but she wanted you to see where it was headed. You can't take action on 1702 tonight.
Thank you, Lynn. This is a request of a personal property tax abatement for some equipment. This is a new startup company called Innovative 3D Manufacturing. The Economic Development Commission did review this case at their meeting on March 14th. They voted to forward a favorable recommendation to you, the City Council, for a 3-year personal property tax abatement with a 5% economic development fee. You should have a copy of the staff report and the application. There's also a sample tax phase-in savings schedule for each of the 3, 5, 7, and 10 years that we typically consider. And then as Lynn mentioned, you also have the resolution tonight, which is the first step in declaring this property an economic revitalization area, which is required in order to grant a tax abatement. So once that's approved, there'll be a legal notice that will go out, and then at your next meeting, the next resolution will be the confirming resolution, which is 1703. Once that's approved, then you can actually act on the tax abatement resolution, which is 1704. And as I said before, the recommendation was for a 3-year abatement with a 5% economic development fee. Exhibit C has the tax phase-in schedule, and it has those percentages. I believe that was included in your packet as well. So the savings for a 3-year abatement has those different percentages. And I believe that was 65%, 50%, and 35% for those 3 years.
Yeah. Chris, I just want to mention it was a unanimous vote at the Economic Development Commission for this proposal.
And that's at the old campus store?
Yes.
Yes.
So putting the new building back in use is a good thing in my eyes.
It's been 600 International Drive, and they're purchasing $1.2 million of personal property. There's a list of those assets on your application and what those are.
This is the Tom Goen project that was in the paper.
This is Chris Beck and Jack Largle, but Chris works at Heart Machine as well.
But I think in the paper though, just for clarify, Jack Lagel's not with Heartland Machine.
He's not.
And just what companies he with to
There's like 5 of them, Dual Tech, Innovative Tech.
Yeah, I read that in the
Several.
paper today and I knew that wasn't right.
Yeah.
Yeah, while a startup, these parties are pretty experienced, so
Yes.
it's called a startup, but there's a lot of experience involved here.
It is, and these are actually 3D metal printers, kind of a neat thing. I've never seen that.
I actually met with him and he showed me what they were doing. It was pretty neat.
Chris, do they plan to add any additional labor on that?
They do, and I talked to Chris who filled out the application, and I think that, you know, he was thinking that as they add equipment, they're gonna add employees as well. And what he wanted me to note also is that on the application that he and Jack are not listed as employees, so that there's actually 4 people tied to this project, but only 2 on the actual payroll to begin with. And so that will be reported once the company is, you know, into its couple of years of operation and purchasing new equipment. So they may come back for successive tax abatements for additional equipment, but this is the first phase. And we've kind of learned recently with some larger projects that it's probably better to keep those separate abatements. Otherwise, things change, and if they're projected out over a number of years, they never seem to come to fruition the way that they are originally estimated. So we're happy to amend them. So I think for simplicity's sake, we'll just do them separately as the equipment is purchased.
So we're working with people that got a good track history with this then?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You need just a motion to adopt this resolution?
Just 1702.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2017-02.
Second.
Second by Mr. Austin. Also, it's not, we can have a public here if somebody wants to speak or against. Hearing none, closed. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The next one, hopefully this doesn't take a whole lot. Yearly tax abatement compliance reports. Ronnie Oliver.
Good evening. I'm just over here in case you have questions for me. I don't feel like we need to read through all of them. Hopefully you've all had a chance to go through. And I will defer to Mr. Austin because he is the tax abatement guru.
On each one that we went through, we did find that each business was in substantial compliance, some in full compliance, but most in full. Some in substantial compliance. They were all unanimous voted as well at DDC.
And I think when how we did this in the past, we was able to name them all, or how did we do this in the past?
What you did in the past, if you were going to approve it, is we identified what ones you were approving and did it in one motion, just so the record's clear that they came back and got their compliance approval, so we have something to stuff like that in the past. Could you be so kind as to read those that are here for us?
I will.
Thank you. To assist them perhaps in their motion.
Okay. Compliance 2017-02, Amcor pet packaging. And just that the staff recommended. I'm sorry, what else did you ask me?
Just identify the various people that are here for compliance they've been approved.
Okay.
And I will make my motion.
Okay.
If they're so inclined to do so.
All of them have been or recommended for approval by the EDC, so I will just name each of the companies.
Thank you.
Compliance 2017-04, BCC Products Inc. Compliance 2017-05, Cavalryman Powertrain Indiana LLC. Compliance 2017-15 Baltimore Printing. Compliance 2017-18 Heartland Machine. 2017-24 Log Properties LLC. Compliance 2017-25 Log Properties LLC. And those are both for different resolutions. So the first one is for resolutions 08-07 and the second one is 08-06. Compliance 2017-34 NSK Precision America, that's for resolution 05-10. And then compliance 2017-38 NSK Precision America, and that's for resolution 13-18. The last two are compliance 2017-39 Overton Carbide Tool and Engineering, and that one is for resolution 12-17. And then there is 2017-41 Overton Industries Tube Forming Systems, resolution 15-06.
If you gentlemen are so inclined, if obviously your discretion is so inclined, you may make a motion to approve the compliance reports as read by staff.
Council, I do want to, Ronnie, do we have Amcor Pet Packaging included in that 2017-02?
I believe that was the first.
Yes, that was my first one.
I'm sorry, Okay. Make a motion to approve them all in one motion.
Second. Second by Mr. Abbott. Does anybody from the public wish to speak? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. And just for the youth council, Lynn and I already know that you know more than me. So just let you know that on tax abatements, I like to tell people this because when I was on the council, people get a wrong impression sometimes about tax abatements. They think they're getting off tax-free. That's not how that works. They get a certain percentage. Say like on the first year, it might be, like we said earlier, 50%, 70%, 80%, and each year they pay a little bit more taxes. And that helps their business get started up and run and buy a bunch of equipment and like our city. So just want to explain that in case you didn't know.
And in exchange for that, then they have to do certain things, get a number of jobs, get certain kind of jobs, make investments. And she's here to tell us they did.
And just in case you didn't have enough fun, I've got a huge stack of these still sitting on my desk, so I have next month with more.
Thanks. Okay, now we go to other business, and it's a presentation of self-funding energy efficient improvements feasibility report. Rob Allrat, our protection group.
Sorry, Rob, I think you lost energy savings.
Now you guys here in the tax abatement. My name is Rob Allrat with the Perfection Group. I'm the Director of Business Development. This is John Albrecht. He's one of our owners. He's also an engineer that puts all the final calculations together. And this is Natalie Sensish. She's one of the members of our engineering team that went through all your buildings, and we'll be able to talk about some specific recommendations we have tonight. But what we did was we put together this presentation tonight. It's a Reader's Digest version of this 114-page feasibility study that I see Bob has his hands in. Yeah, a lot of you guys have it. So we wanted to keep this thing moving because I think I'm not the only one that wants the national championship game tonight. Before we get started, I just want to say thanks to your staff. They've been so helpful. We're only as good as the information that we're provided. And I know they had to sit through multiple presentations with us. They had to gather a lot of information for us. I see Jane shaking her head back there. But yeah, especially Rick, Brent, and Jane, thank you so much for all the information you provided for us. The second slide, if you move on to that, this is just the agenda. It's basically, we had 6 tabs in this feasibility study. It just mirrors that, where we're going to talk about the state legislation that allows for this, the guaranteed savings program, the measures that we can put for you guys to reduce your utility and operating costs. I've got financial cash flow analysis in here. We can talk about the RFP process and a sample timeline that we put in there. If you go to the next slide, this is the state legislation. It's Indiana Code 36-1-12.5. It was enacted by the Indiana General Assembly in 1994 and designed for cities, towns, counties, school districts, and libraries. What they found was there's a lot of needed capital infrastructure improvements needed inside these public sector, inside these entities, and there hasn't been enough capital to properly address all of those needs. So this is set up to allow for all of the savings from the energy and operational expense reductions that this program generates to pay for the improvement items. It's all guaranteed so that it doesn't cost the city anything. And there's some, if you flip to the next screen, and feel free to interrupt us anytime, this is very informal. But these are some of the key highlights of the legislation. It's guaranteed project costs, so there's no change orders associated with it unless the end user requests them. All the savings are guaranteed. The performance of the equipment is guaranteed. It avoids using money from capital and operating budgets. But one of the biggest advantages I see in this program is how it's funded. Is the financing is exempt from your net allowed indebtedness, so it doesn't affect your borrowing and bonding capacity. And it's a lease subject to annual appropriation, so the funding isn't backed up by property taxes or levies or anything that can potentially hurt the taxpayers. So it's a really good program the state put out there, and we've been working with a lot of cities and counties throughout this state and other states to help make infrastructure improvement items. Actually, in counties in Indiana, this has become the most popular procurement method for building renovations in the last 10 years. If you go to the next page. This is a graphical depiction of one of the real key benefits of this program, why it's really designed to mitigate risk. In a traditional construction arrangement, you hire an architect or engineer, have some significant upfront costs to put together a bid spec package, and then you would initiate a project. And you're really the person that's designing it's really only accountable for the design and project management. Whereas in this program, it's a professional service, not a typical construction project. So it gives you the flexibility to pick a company that you feel is going to provide the most value, and that company manages the entire risk process. So they're in charge of designing, engineering, they're accountable for results, the project management. It's all turnkey. It's all under one program so that it doesn't burden the city. And you got one point of accountability. If you go to the next slide. I'm going to turn over to the smart people, John and Natalie, to talk about the different energy conservation measures.
Great. Thanks again for your time. My name is John Albrecht. So I want to talk in generalities about we call them ECMs, energy conservation measures that we look at. And Natalie, she's the real brains of the operation. She actually walked through all your buildings, and she's going to give you a few specifics. We won't dive too deep. We got the big thick book if you really want to get way into the folds there. But these are the 8 ECMs that we look at. So we look at lighting, we look at mechanical, which is like typically the HVAC systems. We do what we call retro commissioning, where maybe a building isn't in too bad a shape, it just needs to be cleaned up, maybe move some rooms around, we can rebalance the systems. We look at the building envelope, which is the windows, the roofing items, the building automation, other controls. And then we can look at renewables like solar type energy conservation measures. And then we look at water typically. And the last one that we like to look at is the fleet. So that's actually your vehicles. And the fleet can be a lot of savings. So we've got 4 slides. We're not going to go into, but normally like when Natalie goes to look at a building, she's going to try to look at all 8 of those in every single building we look at. So we're going to go into 4 of them that have the most application for you all. Jump one more slide. So the first one we like to look at is the lighting. So lighting is like everybody kind of understands that. Lighting is like, think about your house, you have a 60-watt light bulb, right? And you can go to Home Depot now and get an 8-watt LED, and there's significant savings. So we just do that on a global scale, and I'll let Natalie talk a little bit about your buildings and what she saw.
Thank you, everyone. So I'm going to talk kind of with an umbrella of all the buildings that we walked through. We walked through about 10 buildings here in Franklin. So first we'll talk about your lighting. When we walk through your buildings, we notice that all of your lighting, with the exception of some outdoor lighting, is out of date. It's mostly T8 and T12 fluorescents. If you look up, these are T8 fluorescents, which are out of date. As John just said, LED is the latest technology. So we are recommending moving from fluorescent lighting in all of your buildings to LED lighting. The same thing is going to be applied on the exterior of the buildings. which I believe you have had some success with at the wastewater treatment plant. Rick has gone through and put in a lot of LED wall packs on the outside of the buildings, and on your buildings in the rest of the city, you have older lights that are metal halide and mercury vapor, which are on for a significant portion of the day, so switching those out to LED can really make a big difference on your electricity bills.
So the next item that we've decided to focus on for you is the building automation controls. So nowadays, control systems are very integrated. They're on the internet. You can actually log in from remote, see like what the temperature is in this room. You can troubleshoot a building and not even go there. We do that for a lot of clients from a remote location. So what we like to look at is upgrading older controls, maybe where it's just an old dial thermostat or push button type thermostat and no step back, to an automation system. So now they'll give you little details.
That pretty much covered it. All of your thermostats here, with the exception of the cultural center, are standalone thermostats, meaning you're going to set the temperature on this thermostat here, and that's what the equipment's going to do in this room. So what John was saying is we're going to recommend in some of your larger buildings, like the Wonder 5 Center and the Cultural Center, that you install a more complicated system which someone can log into remotely and see what's happening in every part of the building. On the smaller buildings like the Active Adult Center, we're going to recommend implementing a thermostat where someone can still log into it, but it's still going to be a standalone thermostat, versus at the larger buildings, the whole system is going to work together.
So another item, we focus on mechanical upgrades, which in this case means the HVAC systems. So a lot of changes have happened, and most HVAC systems will last between 14 to 20 years. So think about your home, you've got your furnace in the basement and a condensing unit outside, and the EPA has made a lot of, the U.S. Department of Energy has made a lot of upgrades to the SEER rating of that equipment. So today's equipment, kind of like thinking about a refrigerator, today's refrigerators use 20% less energy than refrigerators from the early 80s. So what we like to do is look at those systems as well, because there can be significant savings.
I'm sure most of you are aware that your buildings are a little bit dated, and that is definitely the case with the mechanical equipment. A lot of your equipment is 15 to 20 plus years old, which means it's at its end of its useful life, which John just mentioned. So we are recommending in most of the buildings that we walked through, which are listed up here in the presentation, that you install new high efficiency equipment, which will reduce your maintenance costs because the equipment's not going to break down as much. You will also have capital cost avoidance, meaning, you know, your furnace breaks down at the Active Adult Center in the middle of winter, you have to get someone in there immediately to replace it. So this will avoid the extra cost of having to replace equipment immediately because you're not in a dire situation.
So the last where we focus in here is on the fleet services. So fleet has become a very high savings standpoint. And this is actually your vehicles. So we have the police vehicles, we have parks type vehicles, other department vehicles, and we look at how you acquire those vehicles, so there can be savings there. We also look at the operation of the vehicles, the breakdowns, the age of the vehicles, and another thing we focus on is the propane system. So propane is a biofuel type, and I'll let you explain a little bit on that.
Yeah, if you look on the sheet here, you see you guys own 124 vehicles. That's citywide. That's your entire fleet. And one of the things I'll say here is you guys are doing better than most as far as how you're handling your fleet and how you're handling the replacement of them. Typically, most cities that we work with are in the 78 to 85% of their vehicles are 6 years or older. You guys, it's 61% here. The reason we talk about 6 years or older, that's when you start seeing the significant maintenance and repair costs associated with the vehicle when it starts getting 6 years or older in our engineers' experience. In the last year, 2016, you guys spent a little over $153,000 on maintenance costs and repair costs associated with your fleet for all the entire fleet. So one of the things we recommend as part of our study was a leasing program that allows you to upgrade your entire fleet and utilize money that you're already setting aside for acquisition to wholesale change your fleet and only pay for what you use, as opposed to buying the vehicle outright and depreciating it down to zero and scrapping it at the end of its life. You've got some vehicles that are, you got one that's 24 years old, but the majority of the fleet is older than 6 years. And like John said, the other thing is alternative fuel, which you guys already have some of the propane vehicles, so what we just recommended was, building on to what you've already done here to continue to decrease the fuel expenses. So if we go to the next slide. This is a summary of the savings. So the building utilities is a little over $32,000 a year. The building maintenance is $53,000 a year. As Natalie mentioned, you guys have been aging mechanical systems in a lot of your buildings, and by replacing the equipment, there's a significant reduction in your maintenance costs. The fleet acquisition and maintenance, that's $148,895 annually. Now, there's a lot in that besides just the maintenance and repair reductions. There's the reduction in acquisition costs that you're setting aside today versus what you have in the future, as well as the resale of vehicles, because we'd be replacing with our fleet over 5 years, so there's significant proceeds that come back to you by selling those assets. And the last one, it shouldn't say building maintenance, it should actually say alternative fuel reduction, which is $13,296. So the projected annual cost savings here is $247,889 annually. And what I can say about these guys behind me, I like to call them the Grinches that sit on a hill in a laboratory and go real conservative on the savings calculations, because we got to guarantee this stuff. We've actually delivered 144% of our savings projections. So when we come through, if we're telling you we're going to save you $100,000, we've been delivering $144,000.
And we like to sleep at night. Help us sleep at night.
So one of the key things I want to put out, when we built this study, we built it around not only finding ways to significantly reduce your utility operating costs, but how to protect you from future asset investments that you're going to have to make, specifically with mechanical and electrical equipment. As Natalie mentioned, the majority of your equipment is past its useful life. I can't tell you the exact day when it's going to fail, but in the next couple of years, you've got a little over $1.8 million in mechanical systems it's going to fail initially, just based on some of it's already failed in some of the buildings. For example, like the Cultural Arts and Rec Center, you've already have water source heat pumps that have gone out. You've got 22 that are still, what are they, 20 years old? The water source heat pumps. So it's a considerable investment. So when we looked at this was, we like to go conservative. So we go conservative with the savings projections, and we go conservative with the potential project costs, because we know what this stuff costs. We're a mechanical contractor, we do this every day. So if you did all the recommendations that are in this War and Peace novel, it would be about $2.5 million is what the project cost would be. Again, like I talked about earlier, you can finance the whole project under a master equipment lease subject to annual appropriation, so it doesn't cost you any upfront capital. The utility rebates to be determined. We don't have any incorporated in our cash flow analysis right now because they change quarterly, and this is a long process, so we didn't want to forecast any at this stage. The rate of financing is obviously rates change daily, but it's 3%. Term of the financing is 15 years, and the positive cash flow or savings surplus is a little over $1.6 million. So what we're doing with our guaranteed savings approach, not only are we able to significantly reduce your utility operating costs, upgrade your infrastructure, but you'll also get $1.6 million in a positive cash flow back from money you're already spending today. So if you go to the next page, this is the cash flow analysis that breaks down how that all works. So in the first column, you see the energy savings, which, as I mentioned, in the first year, it's $32,643. If you follow that down over the 20-year period, all the equipment will last 20 years or longer, and we're guaranteeing the performance of the equipment. That's $980,194 in savings. The building maintenance savings, as I mentioned, is a little over $53,000 in the first year. It's a little over $982,000 over the 20-year period. The program reimbursements in the first 5 years, that's the sale of the vehicles, so that's the sale of assets that we will be replacing. And then the fleet savings to the next column is the maintenance and repair savings, as well as the reduction in alternative fuel. So if you look at the total savings over the 20-year period, it's $4.9 million. The debt payment also includes an asset protection plan where we could help maintain the mechanical and electrical systems. And if anything were to happen on that equipment, we would replace it on our dime. It's $3 million. So the positive cash flow over that 20-year period is $1.6 million. So you can actually create a revolving loan fund out of the savings surplus. We actually have, with Amcor here in town, we actually have a full service asset protection plan where we take care of all their mechanical equipment. If you flip to the next page, this is just a sample timeline of the RFP process. So we first met with you guys on September 6th. We had multiple meetings, and then we got the green light to start looking at your facilities, looking at your operating costs. Back in the middle of December, we completed that in early March. We delivered the findings to a select group in the middle of March. We're here tonight to present the findings. The statute requires, the Indiana Code legislation requires that the City Council approve the issuance of a request for proposal, which is just running the legal ads. So in this sample timeline, at your next meeting, if you move forward to issue the legal ad, then that's how the timeline starts. So you got to run 2 legal ads within a week apart from each other. The proposals are due 30 days after the running of the second legal ad. Usually takes a week or two to select the company after you'll get multiple proposals back from multiple companies like us. And then typically it's a 2 to 3 week process to negotiate the scope. So a lot of times we'll make a ton of recommendations. You should see the RFP response. It's literally this big with all the calculations the state requires us to submit to them annually. But you'll go through it and you may decide to do everything we recommend, or you may decide to do 50% of it or whatever, but that's typically what goes on in that process. And then we built this sample timeline just based on being able to make sure there wouldn't be any heating issues in the buildings in the next winter, so that we're concerned about the first week of September. But again, this is just a sample timeline of how long the process typically takes. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But that is our Reader's Digest version of this big study.
Before I ask questions, if anybody has any questions, I just want to let everybody know that just last week and this week alone, we spent $11,350 in this building where the HVACs went out. And since September 30th, 2015, this building alone, we spent $33,886 in keeping up with replacing HVAC stuff and ducts.
My question is, I can understand as a council our responsibility, legal power, the RFP and the money. Who's going to oversee this for the city?